I'm a music YouTuber that doesn't just talk about the stuff I like. I also talk about the stuff I don't like. And I hope that instills with you some confidence that I'm not just saying everything is good, like all the other bloody YouTubers out there. I'm going to say what I don't like. Now, there's a lot of artists I don't like, but perhaps two that I've come back to over and over again are the musicians Neil Young and Van Morrison. And it got me thinking the other day, I thought, which is the actual worst out of those two, musicians? Which one's the worst? And of course, I thought I could use a superometer for this. So I've set the superometer up, and I'm going to go and switch it on in a minute. And then we will start to ask it the questions to see what the answers are and see what it says. And I've got some new software now for it. It's a little bit more up to date, with all these AI things. I mean, AI is sort of, it's a threat to the superometer, because the superometer doesn't work in the same way as AI. What the superometer does is it takes 10 criteria of good. And these are all different criteria, but criteria that people tend to utilize to judge whether something's good or not. They do it, I think I've got 10 here. So you put that into the superometer. And then what the superometer does is it then tells you through a process that I cannot explain to you because it's not like AI. I mean, AI does this and it's like, when I first invented the superometer, it seemed like a ridiculous parody of such things. But now you're just going to say, well, the superometer is just basically AI. And, it doesn't have the power to lampoon AI as it did before, because now we have AI. I don't know. It's very difficult, this one is. Anyway, I'm going to go switch it on. So we feed 10 criteria, and then we say which one wins out of those two. Sometimes it could be a draw. Right, so we ask the superior, it's over there. I'm looking at it now. I'll go and switch it on in a minute. Also, this video is being brought to you by another, how would I describe this? Technical attribute that I am going to be trying out today. And it's a thing called reaction cam. Have you got a reaction cam, Andy? Yeah, I've got one. And it means when I have a lot of the sort of conversations I have with myself, or whether I say, what I think other people might say, or just based on, thoughts after thoughts, I can put on reaction cam. That's a good idea, Andy, that is. So it's like you've got two people talking. Yeah, have you ever seen Lord of the Rings when Gollum, he has that sort of internal dialogue? I saw that, it was good, that was really good. Yeah, well, I'm going to try and do it on here with my reaction cam. Are you going to do that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. What if it doesn't work? It will work. It's going to work. It's just easy. I'll just cut between the two. I know, but people just might think it's just a conceit. They're not going to think it's a conceit. What if they start thinking the one on reaction cam here is another person altogether? They're not going to, I look the same. I know, but Gollum looks the same in Lord of the Rings, and yet they do it through clever editing. I don't think I can edit it as well as Peter Jackson or whoever edited it. Anyway, we're getting off the subject. You always do that, Andy. This could be worse than you need. It might be extending your videos like 2 hours. Now you've got 2 bloody videos that you can go on endlessly at, boring people with your opinions. Oh my God, he's like a troll. That bloke there is like a troll. Have you seen him? Yeah, I am a troll. I'm an evil troll, and I'm going to come in and bloody undermine you throughout this, Edwards. Oh my God, he's calling me Edwards now like he's a different person. He's right. Anyway, so that is that was a bit of an example of how reaction cam will work. So shall we get into this? I'll go and switch the superometer on, and I'm going to do that in a theatrical fashion. If you could just excuse me, right over the other side of the wall. So just wait there, will you? Right, I'm going to pull the big switch. Press the button. And we're up and going. Brilliant. Right, so are we ready to go? Superometer, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Great. So Let's start with the first question. I got too much going on here. You have, haven't you? Can't deal with it all. You got SUPER-I-OMETER over there. You got two bloody cameras. You just went into sort of, I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh, you're going to get on my nerves, that bloke. Anyway, let's have a go, shall we? So the first criteria is popularity. Now, this is something we can measure because we can measure it in record sales. Which one's more popular out of Van Morrison and Neil Young? Well, it's quite surprising. Van Morrison has managed to sell, with that squawking, horrible sound he makes with his voice accompanied with the same old chord progressions over and over again, he's been able to sell 16 million albums. It's quite a shock to me, because that means there's 16 million albums out there. Surely somebody should be collecting all those things up, you know. That's impossible, Andy. You can't go and collect those albums. You're just being facetious now. I am being facetious, yes. So, let's carry on. Neil Young, however, he has sold an unbelievable 75 million albums. Really? Yes, 75 million. That's a huge amount, really. I mean, what albums? Who bought those albums? I don't know. He did Harvest, didn't he? I don't think it includes the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young albums. And he had that hit, Rockin' in the Free World. That's it. So 75 million. Just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, no. So here you could see that in terms of popularity, Neil Young is far more popular than Van Morrison. Although they are both popular, but on the popularity stakes, it's quite obvious that Van Morrison is less popular than Neil Young. So he gets the mark for this one. So in the popularity stakes, SUPER-I-OMETER, I don't need to ask you this one, do I?
Oh, no.
Okay, so which one is it? Can you tell us? There we go. Popularity, Van Morrison loses out. So he gets the point. It's like an inversion of what I normally do with the SUPER-I-OMETER. Have you got it? Right, now let's have a look at innovation, shall we? How are you going to do that, Andy? Do you know enough about these artists to really, you know, do this? I don't know. Let's have a go, shall we? So, Neil Young started out in a band in the 1960s. And that band was around at a time when, you know, rock music was forming. It had played a part in the development of rock music. What was the name of that band, Andy? I don't know. He was in a band, wasn't he? He was in a band in the 1960s, wasn't he? Could you tell the audience the name of the said band of which you speak, you being an expert on YouTube? Okay then, Doubter. I'm going to have to go. I'm not sure, to be honest, what the band he was in. He wasn't in the Youngbloods, was he? He was in Buffalo Springfield. Is that correct? Don't ask me. I don't know. But anyway, that was a band that was around at the time. But of course, you know, Van Morrison was in the Irish Beatles, wasn't he? Which was them. And they were pretty good as well. I don't mind these. I like these bands more than I like them as solo artists, to be honest. So they both, that's the little bit of innovation. But by the time you get to the 70s, they both settled into something that I don't think is that innovative. And it's a hard one to establish. I don't know whether I can do it. I don't even know whether the SUPER-I-OMETER can do it. So let's ask the SUPER-I-OMETER. Out of Neil Young and Van Morrison, who SUPER-I-OMETER is the most innovative? Well, she's saying it's a draw. So they both get the point there. Does this see how we start to go in this? I know it's not that interesting in terms of what we're talking about, but as we get into it, I'm hoping that, you know, you're just making excuses now, Andy. I know I am. I'm starting off, and this one's not. I can sort of tell, you know, when I start a video, you know, I can tell how good it is. And this one's starting off, and I'm thinking, well, there's not much talk here, is there? Is there? Reaction cam, is there? Oh, come on. Reaction cam. Come on, when I need you, where are you? Oh, bloody hell. You see, I've got control over this. You should never have created reaction cam, Andy. I know, it's a really bad thing. Now, let's be honest. You don't really care about this video, do you? Not really, no. That's why I haven't got that much interesting things to say. No. The only reason why you did this video because you wanted to try a reaction cam out. It's true, that is something to true. And you're enjoying that as well more, aren't you? I am a little bit. You know, I am a little bit. I got to be honest. I only came up with this one to try reaction cam out. That's what I'm trying. I'm experimenting with you. Do you like it? It's brilliant, isn't it? I think it's good. Well, I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for reaction cam. So now here I am, this new lease of life. You know, the anti-Andy, the one that's gonna. I'll tell you, I'm on your side, audience. He's annoying. I will get him. Everything you want to say, I'm going to bloody have him on. He's too full of himself. Needs to be brought down a peg or two. Here he is deciding who's the best out of Van Morrison, Neil Murray. I mean Neil Young, not Neil Murray. He would be beating both of them. Yeah, I'm with you there, reaction cam. Big fan of Neil Murray. Right, so influence. There's the next one. Number 3 is influence, right? So let's think of all the artists that have been influenced by Van Morrison. Well, it's mainly Irish artists, and the only reason they say it is because they're Irish. Is that true? Maybe he just doesn't know, and he doesn't know enough about this. He's out of his wheelhouse with this one. I'll tell you this now. He doesn't know. I do know about it. For example, I'll give you an example of a band that is cited Van Morrison's influence is U2. He doesn't know that, he's guessing. I'm not guessing, it's probably the case. You know, I tell you who has said he's an influence is Rory Gallagher. No, he hasn't. He's just clutching at Irish straws now. I might be a little bit, I don't know. The same will be true of Neil Young. So, in terms of influence, I don't really know. So, I think I'm going to have to bow to the superometer here and see what the superometer said. So, superometer. Superometer, who's the most influential out of Neil Young and Van Morrison? So Neil Young, and it makes sense really, because the thing is, people think influence. If you've got influence here and you've got innovation here, you think of those as being exclusive. So you have these criteria because they balance each other. But obviously artists are influential because the amount of records they get out there. If you've sold 75 million records, you're going to be more influential than if you've sold 16 million. And if you're an American artist, you're going to be more influential than if you're an Irish artist. Now, I can see that there is a whole line of sort of Americana guitar-based bands, all the sort of bands I hate, for example, the REM and people like that, who have probably got some influence coming from Neil Young. But I must argue and push back and say a little bit that all of these artists are really coming out of Bob Dylan. And it's just Bob Dylan. Isn't Neil Young just Bob Dylan with a higher, twangier voice, and that's it? Right, so let's carry on now. On to the next one. Right. So the next one is I've got performance. Now, performance is how, like, Jimi Hendrix is a great performer, Prince is a great performer, Michael Jackson's a great performer, and I say Tina Turner, they're all great performers. Now, these two aren't really in that bracket, are they? You know, I watched a Neil Young concert the other day, and he sat down for most of it, and he spent like 10 minutes choosing which harmonica that he had. Now, I wanted to put this up on YouTube, but when I tried to do it on another video, it grabbed the whole copyright, even though there was no music playing, and it was just static shots of him going, "Oh, where's my harmonica? Where's my harmonica?" He did that for about half an hour. Now, Van Morrison is not much different, is he really? I mean, what's his performance style? Putting a hat on? So really, I don't think either of them should get a point, but then that doesn't help the superometer. I think we've got to say that somebody's a performer. Which one's the best out of these two? Neil Young. And Neil Young does, I mean, he does sometimes get up on stage and rock, which Van never does. He never does that, does he? So, you know, which one is it for performance? Which one is it? Let's ask the superometer. Well, I don't know. I think the argument here is his grumpiness is compelling. Now, I did a tour with Van Morrison and I saw it up close, and the boringness of the music was you know, pepped up slightly by just standing there going, is he going to tell off somebody? Is he going to get grumpy? He seems as though he's in a really bad mood as it is and doesn't want to be here. And that did pep it up in a way. So maybe the superometer is right in this regard. I know, but Neil Murray, he can have a jump around, can't he? He can do the rocket in the free world. I know, but when he does it doesn't seem very convincing. And Neil Young always has on his face a look as though he knows he's rubbish. He has a wry smile to himself as though he goes, oh, they're still taking all this in. You know, so I can see that the point there, well, we have to go with the superometer. The superometer feels that in terms of performance, it's Van's better now. The thing I've got to say about Van, and this does factor in, and I can see where the superometer is coming from. In terms of vocal performance, you know, Neil Young is neither a good guitarist or a good singer, right? It's questionable if he's a good songwriter, but I suppose I'll give him that. But he's not a great at either of those. Now, Van Morrison can be a good singer. And that throaty yowl that we get every now and then that I dislike, well, I don't know, because in the end, I've done it on the channel, haven't I? And I sounded exactly like Van Morrison as far as I was concerned. It's a very difficult one. I think Van's unlucky. Oh, I've just realised. You see. See what's happened here, everybody. Just ignore Andy for a while. This is what I'm here for, is right. He started the video off, okay? Started the video off, and of course, right, the superometer doesn't exist, right? And you know the superometer doesn't exist, and I know it, right? Andy knows it doesn't exist, but it's a conceit, and you all enjoy it, right? But the trouble is, Andy has to keep the conceit up. He has to have the wherewithal to be able to deliver a YouTube video where he remembers the point that the person who's getting the point is the worst. Andy, listen to me. That point's the worst, isn't it? You might have a point, bloody reaction cam. I hadn't thought, I forgot, didn't I? I mean, it's purely inept. Yeah, so Van Morrison got this because he's not as good as Neil Young. And that's what I'm thinking. Well, Neil Young jumps about and he does put a bit of a performance on. What does Van stand there? He stands there like a stuffed shirt. But see, this is the thing about critique. As soon as a superometer says something, I have to agree with it. So I'm then coming up with reasons why they're good. And don't we do that? I'm doing it now. All these people who push against me and go, no, Neil Young's brilliant. They're doing what I just did. And I don't even like these people. And there is the real truth in this video. He's done it again. You see that? The real truth in this video. He's trying to take the fact he's not very good and turn it into something where you think, oh, Andy's really wise. And some of you that have been duped by this man will be going, well, you know, maybe that's the essence. Maybe he did that on purpose, Andy. Well, I'll tell you he's not. I know how I know he's not, because I am him. Right? And the same thing with this reaction cam. It's an absolute conceit, but of course, Andy's created me, hasn't he? So this might be an even deeper esoteric message, and nobody will ever know. And the truth is, once you set that up as a YouTuber, you can do no wrong. I'll show you, right? Just like Andy sat there and he's going, what shall I do now? And what does he do now at these points? He either sings a song or the phone rings. When it goes wrong, the phone always rings. Anyway, yeah, I think we should move on. Wow, what's this going on? It's ringing. Oh, I didn't expect that to happen. Hello, who's this? Really? I can't believe that I can't believe it's this person. This bit is the bit where he holds the phone and now he's thinking of somebody for it to be. He hasn't got a clue at the moment, so he's stalling. You watch him stall now until he thinks it's somebody, because he hasn't got a clue who it's going to be. He's just using it to get out and distract you from what went wrong. It's incredible you've rung up, yeah, I am doing a video, yeah. What, you want me to tell the audience who's rung me up? I don't think I should. I think I should keep it a secret, really. Now, let them see if they can guess just by what you're saying. Can you see what I'm saying? He hasn't got an idea. And because I'm here worrying him on his shoulder, saying all this stuff that's nonsense, right? He is really stalled now. He cannot think of anybody. His mind has gone blank. He should just pick on anybody. They should pick on the first person that comes in. You watch. Whatever he thinks of now is just the first person that comes into his head. Anyway, I loved your records you did. Yeah, especially Goldfinger. That was one of my favourite records you did. Yeah. Yeah, I thought your singing was amazing on that. He's trying to make out it's Shirley Bassey. It's just the first random person he came up with. Anyway, Shirley, can I ask you a question? I've always wanted to ask you a question. Is it true that on Goldfinger, you had half of Led Zeppelin performing on that record? Yeah, I know. You had John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page alongside a whole bunch of sort of a stellar cast. But can you imagine that as half of Led Zeppelin is performing on the tune Goldfinger? That's an interesting fact, isn't it? Yeah, I know it's got nothing to do with my video. I just thought I'd say it. Oh, don't you start now. I've set up this reaction cam and yeah, it's like me, but it's like an alter ego of me, and I criticise myself. You know, it's a little bit like, I turn, yeah, you know the type of thing. Yeah, like Gollum in Lord of the Rings, exactly like that. Yeah, that's it, yeah. And so he's criticising me, and then I have Shirley Bassey coming on, and you're undermining me. Yeah, no. Look, the people come here for random facts about music, right? So say someone's watching this video, and, and I have this conceit, the fact that there's a fact in there about music, and some of them won't know that, so some of them are going, ooh, I never knew that, and they're probably going onto Wikipedia now to check it, and then they'll find I'm right, and then they'll go, oh, Andy's really good, he can just pull facts out like, yeah, I know, but I know it seems I can pull facts out of thin air, but yeah, I know, Shirley, listen, Shirley, right? I know you can be a bit stroppy, okay? But you know how when you went on Morecambe and Wise, remember? And you lost your shoe in the stair. Do you remember? And then Eric Morecambe, he took his shoe off, his big old nail boot, and he put it on your foot. You remember that? You went along with that. You didn't go complaining about that. Well, you're involved in the same sort of a conceit here. It's just here for entertainment. Yeah, I'm just using you in exactly the same way as Morecambe and Wise did. Yeah, I am, yeah. A reaction cam can say what he likes, but actually he's making out that I just have randomly thought you up. But actually, if you think about it, in the nature of the concept of this video, you're the perfect person to have on because you're an example about a singer that then consciously involves themselves in a conceit for entertainment. And so I'm showing that that's the case. And in doing that, also referring in the postmodern way to reaction cam and the superometer. Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? What's my favourite album by you? I like a lot of your stuff, Shirley, but I have to say, that track you did with the propeller heads was unbelievable. Yeah, incredible. Absolutely brilliant tune. I loved it. Showed you were still relevant back then. Obviously, you're not now because you're too old. All right then, Shirley. Thanks a lot for calling. Yeah. Love you. Bye-bye. Love you. Look after yourself. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Shirley Bassey, everyone. That was good, wasn't it? Shall we move on? Right. So, the next one we've got on here is iconicness. So who's the most iconic superometer out of Van Morrison and Neil Young? Well, Neil Young is the most iconic because now I remember the superometer has said it's Van Morrison. Because he's a nobody, isn't he? If you think about it, Neil Young, not so much now, but in his younger days with the long hair, he looked cool. Van Morrison never looked cool. He just looked like a fat little ginger bloke with like piggy trotters for fists, and thought that just by putting a hat on, he got no neck, it's like that, isn't he, with his hat on. Just going, that's all. He's not iconic whatsoever. Neil Young's not that iconic. We're not talking about Jimi Hendrix or Michael Jackson here. But anyway, Van comes off worst off with that one, doesn't he? He thinks he's got back on track, but I will get him by the end of the video. Don't worry, viewers. I will get him. That reaction cam, right? I'm going to do what he does back now. I'm going to talk to you like this, and I'm going to say he is trying to win you over. You've been with me all this time through 1,300 videos. You've all subscribed, those of you who have, if you haven't subscribed now, and you've been with me the whole time. And as soon as he shows up, you're on his side straight off like that. It's like when Rob Grocott comes on, you're on his side straight off like that. Have you got no sort of, allegiance to me that's been here giving you all this entertainment for all these years? Don't listen to him. He's just trying my tricks now. But his tricks are my tricks. Do you not understand? This is really, really something else. Look, anyway, I think that reaction cam, I think he needs to go. No, Andy, no, please. I've only just been born into the world. I've only been here for a matter of 25 minutes. Please let me stay. Okay, then I'll let reaction. It's just getting stupid. I'm only on number 6. This should be going on. Right, songwriting skill. Who's the best songwriter out of Van Morrison and Neil Young? What is it, SUPER-I-OMETER? So remember, everybody, that's the worst one. Right? Van Morrison can't sing, he can't play the guitar, he gets on my nerves, he moans about stuff and is just annoying, as is Van Morrison. But if I put Harvest on or listen to the stuff he did with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, he's a really good songwriter. And I think Van's a good songwriter, but not in the league of Neil Young. I can see that I can totally see that in my objective way. What do you think, reaction cam? Carry on, Andy. Shall we move on, because this is getting tedious, isn't it? So, SUPER-I-OMETER. Who's written the most classic albums? Yeah, the trouble is Astral Weeks is such a classic, and then Neil Young is, why do I keep saying Neil Murray? Reaction cam, you're not saying anything anymore. Reaction cam? Reaction cam? Reaction cam? He's gone to sleep. Reaction cam's gone to sleep. I'll let him rest for a little bit. People don't realise how hard it is to do this YouTube, but it can puff you out. You know, I've built up a stamina. He's a lightweight. Anyway, SUPER-I-OMETER, what was it? Yeah, a draw. Brilliant. Let's just hurry through this. Which ones have the best production? SUPER-I-OMETER. Yeah, of course, it's a draw. What's that got to do with them? Which one has got the least technical skill out of Van Morrison and Neil Young? It's Neil Young, of course it is. So I've just rattled through and get fed up with this. And then the last one, of course, is my personal taste. We don't have to ask the SUPER-I-OMETER that. And I dislike Neil Young, but nowhere near the level that I dislike Van Morrison. So when we get to this SUPER-I-OMETER with their scores out of, is it 20? I can't work it out. Anyway, anyway. With the scores, who's the winner? There we have it. Van Morrison is way worse. Right, Van Morrison got 5 bad points. Neil Young, I can't bloody deal with this one. You know what I think's happening? I think that reaction cam goes, come on, he's sat there, undermined me, SUPER-I-OMETER, what the hell's going on now? Bloody hell. And there's steam coming out of it. Can you see the steam reaction cam? Yeah, I think that looks a bit of a worry, Andy. You know, I know. What's that sound? It sounds like gears grinding. Can you hear? You know the little workers that work it. I can hear them shouting as well. Bloody hell, this is a bit of a noise. I don't like the look of it. It's shaking a little bit. It's shaking. What are we going to do? I don't know. This is getting really bad. I know. I think it's going to blow up any minute now. It's going to blow up. Bloody hell. Whole studio's gone down. I survived. Reaction cam? Reaction cam? He never made it. Don't think we'll have him back. Unless you liked him in the comments. If you liked him, put it in the comments. Anyway, I better get out of here and start rebuilding my studio back for the next video. Oh, there's been a lot of special effects in this one, hasn't there? A lot of special effects. I hope you appreciate what I'm doing here. Anyway, a bit of fun, wasn't it? So if you enjoyed this silly video, then please put a like on the video. Please click subscribe. If you have subscribed, ring the notification bell. If you've done all of those things, the next thing you should do is go over to my Patreon and become a free member. And just get involved in there. If you don't like it, you can always leave. But if I draw you in with my excellent content, because there's a lot of content there, you might then decide to become a paid member and get access to all the lovely stuff that's there. Also, I have membership videos, right? And after I've done this one, I'm going to film a special video for the patrons and the members, right? And that will be going up. And you can only watch those if you become either a member or a patron, right? Now, the members get a few more videos than the patrons do, and the members get to see my videos earlier as well, so they don't have to wait for them to come out. The patrons don't get that, but the patrons get extra content, so it swings and roundabouts what you want. I also have a PayPal tip jar, and you can have a, stick some money in, which is very useful when I get demonetized, which is most of the time. And I like the videos where I can put content in, other people's content, but when I do that, this one won't have that. This is designed to exist, so you don't have to do so much for this video. If you like this video, it'd be nice to put a tip in, but you don't have to, because hopefully I'll make a little bit of money out of the ad revenue and stuff like that, and that's how YouTube works. Anyway, I hope you appreciate this sort of green screen skills at the end of the video and all that bit. And I'm going to go now. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next video.